Hey guys, welcome back to Vince Fell Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a custom Wonder Woman statue made from the Savage She Hulk Sideshow collectible statue. Now, I think this statue is 1/4, but it almost is a 1/5. It's kind of a really smaller compared to a lot of the new 1/4 statues that are out there. So it might be kind of like in between, closer to 1/4 scale, but I would say it's like just a little bit smaller than usual. But it's a really good statue. It's a little bit older. I had somebody contact me and they really wanted to turn it into a Wonder Woman, but they wanted to do their own little take on it. They wanted to give it like, you know, some like different breast armor, different hair, more like an Amazon almost type look, you know, kind of like throwback in a way. So after some talking and hashing out, this is kind of what we came up with. Now this was a lot of fun, this project, because I had a lot of freedom to do what I wanted. The client sent me a lot of stuff, but they were like, you know, kind of do your thing. You know, just run with it. But these are kind of the elements I want on the statue. So I was like, all right, let's run with it. So we'll start off with the breastplate first. Of course, you know, the headband, the typical headband. But the breastplate, I wanted to do a throwback to her armor, which is kind of like the eagle with the wings and stuff. But I wanted to make it kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a different Amazon type breastplate. So what I had to do is I had to Dremel out the outfit that came with the Savage She Hulk, and then I rebuilt the breasts, and then I started adding the armor on it. Now what I did is I added this little piece here and these little feathers here to give it like the eagle look. And then what I did is these pieces that come across are kind of like a throwback to Wonder Woman's armor, but they're longer and it's a little bit more designed, so it kind of wraps around the breast a little bit more. So that was kind of like what I came up with there. And then I added these little pieces around here, the rib cage, as well as over here, and I added stars to it, and then like leather straps, because this strap's a little bit longer than these because this is stretched out and her torso's kind of going that way compared to those straps over there. So once I got that done, the client liked it. He's like, yeah, let's keep going with it. So as far as the belt, I was like, well, why don't we want to make sure it's Wonder Woman. We kind of don't want to, like, you know, make up this crazy armor. And it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a cosplay girl, but it's not really a Wonder Woman. So I said, why don't we give her the Terry Dodson, you know, belt, because I like that belt a lot. I think it's my favorite belt that Wonder Woman has. So it's kind of like the W, Wonder Woman, you know. So you got up here, you got the eagle, but over here you got the W. So it's kind of like works a little bit more. So as far as the bracelets go, the Savage She Hulk already has these bracelets, so we kind of utilized them, and I just added a little piece extra so you could see up here as well. So I added this little kind of design area to the bracelet with the star, and then we gave her a sword. Now this part is the only removable piece on the statue with my typical magnet and a piece of metal, so it's just a little bit easier for breaking it down and everything. Now, a lot of you probably might already know, why does she have a Conan letter opener sword? Talking to the client, I said, you know, there's a lot of swords out there that are in scale, because this is like that $30 letter opener. There is like a Conan letter opener and other letter openers that are like $150. But this one's actually in scale with the statue. So I sent them a bunch of ideas. I said, well, we could go with, like, you know, the Conan look, or you could go with some of these like old, you know, war swords, or, you know, different like Roman swords and stuff like that. He liked the Conan sword. He liked the design, and he just says, you know what, this is my statue, and that's what I want to run with it. So I was like, all right, let's get it. So I got the sword and I added it into her hand. So it worked out pretty cool. I like the sword. The sword is an amazing looking sword, and, you know, why not give it to her? It's kind of fun. It's a little bit different, but hey, what the hell. Now as far as the hair, I sculpted the hair from scratch. I broke off the other hair. He wanted to have this whole, like, you know, split in the middle, simple ponytail, and give it like a curl coming across. Like, you know, there is a little bit of an action with her lifting up, you know, the shield going back, the sword, and the hair kind of flowing. And then, you know, I just wrapped some wrap around it at the end. Now, as far as the boots, this was the fun part. Now, he didn't know what he wanted for the boots. So I was like, you know what? I got this really cool artwork in my library of screensavers of this Wonder Woman, and I really like the way this guy designed these boots on this drawing. And I said, you know, why don't we kind of like mimic that kind of drawing, because it's a really cool design. And I always thought to myself, if I could ever get my chance to make a custom Wonder Woman as like a what if, I would follow this one guy's artwork, and because I like the way he designed it. So I said, you know, what about boots like this? Because we had to Dremel off all these boots and everything, because the boots that came with the Savage She Hulk got these wraps around it. So, you know, once you Dremel all that off and then you got to rebuild the legs, it's kind of like oh man, it's going to be so much work, it might not look right. So I said, why don't we kind of just Dremel it off, but then we'll sculpt over it and we'll make these type of boots. And he was like, yeah, I like those boots, let's go with it. So that worked out pretty cool. So that's pretty much the boots and everything. Now, as far as the shield, at first we tried to get a Hot Toy shield, but they were too small. So he's like, and I was like, you know what? I'm not sure I can really nail a shield. I mean, I could tempt it, and if it doesn't work out, maybe we could find something else. So he's like, go for it. See what you could come up with. So what I did is I rolled out Magic Sculpt, and then when I rolled it out, I took a top of like a Tupperware plastic container, and I used the top of it, and I pushed down onto the Magic Sculpt, and I made myself like a cookie cutter circle. And that's how I pretty much got the circle, and I pretty much got this band around the piece with these little pieces. So that kind of worked out pretty cool. But the only problem was there was no curve on the statue. You got to have some kind of a curve in here. So what I did was I took the piece I cut out and I put it at the bottom of a bowl, like a cereal bowl that's got kind of like a, curved in the inside, and I let it cure overnight, and I pretty much had my base of the shield. So then what I did was I sanded it all down, I kind of cleaned it up the edges, and I kind of, stuff. I sculpted all this stuff in the middle, I added a star and all these little markings, but I was like, I don't want to turn it into a Captain America shield, but I kind of want to give it like a Wonder Woman type shield, maybe something like in, the Amazons might have all kind of designed up, and that's what I came up with. And then I pretty much wrapped it, there's a piece back here that kind of got in with Magic Sculpt, but over here, this hand kind of glued in here because I couldn't like make this detachable without scraping in there, so it's just a part of the statue. I found this hand in my box of parts, and I kind of just added the hand because I really couldn't get the hand that came with it to work, so this is what I came up with. So that's pretty much the shield and the statue. Of course, we added the rope, added a little clasp on there. This is the stretchy rope where it doesn't actually tear when you cut it. So, we got that going. So, as far as paint up, Garage Kit Colors Flesh Tones. We didn't go too crazy with a lot of the face makeup, but we gave her kind of lipstick, but not overboard. I did some eyeshadow, but not too heavy. Garage Kit Flesh Tones, pale gold armor, outclad chrome bracelets. The red here is kind of like a mahogany red. The pants are pretty much just like a blue with some shading and an interference blue over it, and then dulled it down to give it like that silk spandex look. I added these lines, of course, with the sculpting. Now the stars are Archer Fine Transfer stars. I'll link a video in the description where how you rub the stars onto their pieces of paper where you can, because these are rub-on stars, but you can make water soluble decals, which you rub it on the piece and then you put it in water and then you just like slide it onto the statue. It makes life way easier for stars. So that's what I did with that. As far as the boots at the bottom, tried something a little bit different. So these are really shiny metallic-y red, but not overly done. Like kind of like we didn't want to make it like completely like pink metallic, but it is like shiny, like it feels like a hard, metal. And then this is the pale gold. As far as the centerpieces, we didn't want to mimic outclad chrome like the bracelets. You want to make the bracelets separated from the rest of the metal on the statue. So what we did is kind of like a dulled down metal that's kind of been like used and abused area, like worn out. So I came up with that. And then, simple black base, and that's pretty much it. So a lot of fun with this statue. I really like the idea of just, taking an older statue and then just making something just your own vision, having fun with it, and a real one of a kind. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I had a lot of fun. I think it's a really great idea. It's a really good statue. Don't ever think that these older statues are useless or they're not good. They still got life to them. You can always pick them up cheap, whether they're broken or if people just calling out the collection, and you can make yourself some really cool statues off of them. So there you go, Wonder Woman Custom from the Sideshow Collectibles Savage She Hulk. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.